Hello, algebra students. Okay, if you don't have it, I need you to go grab your formula sheet because that's what we're going to be reviewing today or in this example. As we look at these problems, we are going to use our formula sheet to handle them since we haven't been really focused on slopes and lines this unit, but both of these line problems can be done with a formula. First example, what is the slope of the line containing the points -5, 3, and 1, -6? So I hope you remember that if they ask you to find slope and you've been given points, like -5, 3, and 1, -6, then the fastest way to do that, well, I would say the fastest way, I suppose you could draw a picture, but on the formula sheet, there is a formula for slope, and you can go look it up. It's the slope formula. It says m is equal to, yes, we use m for slope, y2 minus y1, that's basically the change in the y values, over x2 minus x1. A lot of times we call that rise over run because it's how much my y value changed, my up-down movement, over my change in x's, how much my x values changed. We call that run frequently. But you don't have to know that in order to be able to substitute into this formula. What you do need to be able to know, though, is that when you look at a point, the first value is an x value, and the second value is a y value. So now that I've said that, now I can take the second y and subtract the first y. So I think I will label this xy2. So there's my second y. So I will take it -6. And from that, I'm going to subtract my first y. My first y was 3. And that's going to go over. Next thing I need is my second x. So second x was 1. And it really doesn't matter which one you call first and which one you call second, but stay consistent. Okay, the second x and the second y have to be in the same point. Okay, and then what am I doing? Oh, from that x2, I'm going to subtract my first x, -5. Now, careful. I need to subtract -5. Don't just drop one of those minus signs. All right, now you can type this whole thing into your calculator, but this one's not too bad to simplify. So I'm going to do the top and the bottom first. So -6 minus 3. I'm already 6 in the hole. I'm going to go down 3 more. So -6, -7, -8, -9. And then subtracting a negative number is the same as adding. You're getting rid of negativity. So 1 plus 5 is 6. And then this can reduce. Again, you feel free to do it in your calculator, but I noticed that 9 and 6 have a common factor of 3. They can both divide by 3. So I'll divide it out of both of them. -9 divided by 3 is -3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. Final answer, -3/2. That is the slope. Next example. A line has a slope of 5/4 and contains the point -8, 3. Find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. All right. Asking us for something different this time. Another thing to do with lines, but this is also on the GED formula sheet. I'm actually going to have you look at 2 formulas. First thing. What they asked us to do is find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. You can look at your GED formula sheet and you'll see the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. And this is like the generic form of the equation of a line. In order to talk about a specific line, you need to fill the m and the b in with numbers. And then once you put numbers, then it's a specific line. And m stands for slope and b stands for the y-intercept. That's why we call it the slope-intercept form. So you don't have to memorize that. You can just look at the name and go, oh, that's why it's called that. But unfortunately, I have the slope. But you can see nowhere does it say anything about a y-intercept. Instead, it tells me a point. And that's why I say that we can use 2 formulas for this. Probably the simplest way to go on this example is to actually start with a different equation of a line, the one that contains the slope and the point and use it to get to where we want to go. So you might say, well, I don't know which one contains the slope and the point. Well, it's called point slope form. So look at your formula sheet and find the point slope form of the equation of a line. And it'll say this: y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. Now, the tricky thing about this one is knowing where to plug in your x's and your y's. That's what confuses students. So you need to realize that m is the slope, just like we said before. But the x and y of your point that we have over here, see our point, -8, 3, that's going to go in for x1 and y1. Let's plug in. So y minus y1 is the y value of my point, 3, is equal to my slope, my m is 5/4, times x minus x1 is the x value of my point, and that is -8, not just 8. Don't forget the negative that belongs to the 8. And now it's just a matter of simplifying. If I simplify and solve for y here, it's going to be in this format. You're going to say, what is she talking about? Well, take a look. In the format they asked me for, slope-intercept form, y is alone. It's solved for y. And that's why this is a great example for me of solving a multi-step equation and using formulas. Because if I can just get y alone here, solve for y, then this will be in the form I want it to be in. But first things first, let's simplify. I see some work I can do on the right-hand side. Let's do it. So subtracting a negative is the same as adding. So I'm going to call that x plus 8. And I am going to do the work to pass out that 5/4. So 5/4 times x is 5/4 x. And you can multiply it in your calculator, but 5/4 times +8, let's see, 1, 2, is +10. And now on the left-hand side, I still have y minus 3. Now looking at that right-hand side, now there's nothing left to simplify, 5/4 x plus 10. However, I can do the work to get rid of the 3 so y can be alone. So I will add 3 on both sides. Look where I lined up the 3 under the 10 because plain old numbers combine with other plain old numbers. Subtracting 3 and adding 3 are opposites. They cancel. Y is alone just like I wanted. And nothing's combining with 5/4 x. It's still 5/4 x. And 10 plus 3, that's 13. And you can see, yes, this is an advanced application of using formulas and solving equations. But you guys are my advanced students. Y'all can handle. All right, you guys, super proud of you. Happy learning.